Aaron Tuttle here for Ferguson Roof Systems. For 43 years, Ferguson Roof Systems has been protecting Oklahoma's homes and businesses with quality roofing services. Their goal was to be the most honest and dependable roofing company in the state, all while providing free services such as lifetime labor warranty and annual inspections. Well, mission accomplished with thousands of client testimonials, an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, and a 5-star rating on Google. Look, the weather gives you enough to worry about, so why worry about who to trust with your roof? Call Ferguson Roof Systems today or find out more at fergusonroofsystems.com.
Hey everyone, it's Wednesday night. Meteorologist Aaron Tuttle here with you about 9:25. We're going to talk about some nasty cold weather coming our way. It looks worse and worse every time I look at model data. So I'm glad you joined me. It's going to be a frigid February as it looks like right now. By the way, I was just checking in. Renee, I see you. Carrie, I see you. Both of you ladies sending me some stars tonight. Rachel also joining in on the fun. So thank you, ladies, for sending me some Facebook stars. If you'd like to do that, it's right there where you leave a comment. You can shoot me as many as you like. I'm very appreciated. We are going to get right to the fun stuff. And I'm telling you, it's it's going to be something. Let me go do something here real quick. Pull this up. I'm going to mute this if it comes up. I think it'll be all right. Okay, it's working. All right, here we go. By the way, I do have closed captions turned on for Facebook Live. So if you want closed captions in a point where you can't listen audio, you can always do that. Dana, I see you with some stars tonight, so thank you very much. Let's take a look at YouTube. By the way, Jim, I see you, and Natasha's always checking in. You guys are YouTube regulars, so appreciate you saying hi. I see you, Kyle. Appreciate you, brother. All right, let's get on with the weather now that we've got a few of you rolling on in. For some reason, Facebook isn't notifying all my peeps, and I'm not happy with Facebook, honestly. What else is new? But for this reason of seriously, I got 130-something thousand of you, and it'll notify 500 of you. I'm like, what good does that do anybody? I'm still irritated with that whole process. But I don't know what else I can do. Maybe I'll message them and say, hey, cut it out. All right, let's get on with the show, and let's talk about what we got going on. So first thing I want to do is tell you to like and share this video with your friends and family. That way they can tune in here at any point in time during this broadcast and get you up to date. Now, it's possible you may have to check my weather page on AT's weather and then toggle on and off the get live notifications. So maybe turn it off and turn it back on. Maybe there's something screwy in their algorithms. I have no idea. But that might be worth a try. I see you, Sam. I see you, Lisa. Thank you for the stars tonight. Appreciate you. And let's go on. So here's a look at the upper levels of the atmosphere. That's where I like to start. I'm going to show you the big pattern, the reason why this is important. So this represents energy in the atmosphere, but the jet stream also helps to bring in the cold air. So I'm going to put this into motion. We have some energy that moves through the central plains here for Friday and on into the weekend. It's up across the Great Lakes. There's a little batch of energy that swings on down here into the Colorado and New Mexico. And this swings on through for the weekend. Don't expect much to come out of that for us, for Oklahoma. Just a little bit of a dusting, maybe of snow or light showers, especially across the north. But that's really much it. I'm not expecting much in the way of precipitation here for a while. But however, you do see this guy right here. So we're going to have a little polar vortex action. And this particular model is showing it anchored here over central Canada, pretty much just north of Winnipeg. And what that does is it brings in some nasty cold weather with it. So as we head into time, that thing expands and grows in case it stays centered over Canada. At this point now, we're into Tuesday afternoon. As we head further, look how this thing expands and gets bigger. So this is the polar vortex. It's nasty. So in other words, it's a strong vertical low pressure area, a vertical lower heights all the way up in the atmosphere. And we're going to get some really nasty stuff out of it as far as the entire nation is concerned overall with this colder weather. Did not mean to hit that button. Let's do that. What in the world? All right, clear that off. Get out of there. All right, we'll go the next few frames over. So there's Thursday, and we're in the Friday of next week now. And now we're coming into Friday into Saturday. So the system kind of moves to the east, and a big wave of it kind of shoots down here across the central part of the country. So what this pattern sets up is something that's just brutally cold for the body of United States. So let's take a look and see what that looks like when we look underneath the jet stream pattern, and we look at both precipitation and also for cold temperatures. Now, I do believe the story for this upcoming period is going to be the cold. There will be a side story. It won't take, precedence over our neck of the woods, but for other parts of the country, it will be significant. So this is going to be the snow outlook. We're going to look at a couple of the model outputs between now through 10 days from now, all right? So you can see how there's a lot of snow developing in the Rockies. You know what? That's expected. That's good for those guys, the skiers. There's going to be a nice round of snow here in the central part of the country. Some really heavy stuff around the Great Lakes and the upper Midwest and even to the Northeast. So there's going to be some stretches, some really good snows. The wild card, however, is what happens in Oklahoma and Texas. We do have a southern stream in play. But right now, all the systems coming through are fairly weak. There's not a whole lot of moisture with them. That can change at any point in time in this. One can surprise us all, so it does bear watching. And I'm going to show you why and what that means when we take a look at that. So this was the European. Here's a look at the Canadian model. It's got a little light dusting of snow here across Oklahoma and parts of Texas, but still the main track is north where we showed it. The American model, the old version of it, big swath of snow north, but it's got a nice swath of snow here across Texas, indicating of a good strong southern storm track system. If we look at the newer version of that, it still has indications of a stronger track, but kind of diffuse. In other words, divergent pattern of it. Some of it here in Oklahoma, and some of it's still in North Texas. That's good. So at least the American model is showing us there is some hope if you want a little snow around here. And the blend of models is going to keep most of it up to the north. And then there's that uncertainty kind of peppered through right here and extended all into next week as the models become more clear on what's going to happen. So if you're a snow lover and you're wanting some snow, keep your fingers crossed. Although it doesn't look like a huge opportunity, there is weak signals there. And we're just going to have to take it day at a time. There's nothing I can say to you today with absolute certainty of timing and amounts. It's just not going to happen. It's just not there in the data. And I tell it to you like it is. I don't hype it up. I don't promise. Matter of fact, I pretty much over deliver and under promise. All right, so here's a look at the temperature profile. Now I'm going to go through the end of the forecast periods. This takes us to Saturday on the 13th. This is the middle part of February. I'm just going to put you through different models. These are the actual air temperatures. These are not wind chills. This is just the nasty stuff, all right? So this is the Ensemble climate forecast system. It's got readings of minus 24 degrees Fahrenheit in the Central Plains, all right? But it's cold. All this purple shading is all over the country into Canada, and the cold air is almost all the way penetrated down to near Florida into South Texas. If we go to the Canadian Ensemble runs, all of Canada is covered in purple, so that's all below zero. You get to some of these colder numbers down here into the low 20s, all the way in Oklahoma, and some 20s and 30s into Texas. So still cold, not quite as brutal. If we take a look at the European model, again, you're kind of picking up on the same trend here. They're all going to differ in the final output as far as numbers go, but the deal is cold and brutal cold up to our north. Here is the operational run of the Canadians. This is not the ensemble. This is where they pick their best version of that. It has minus 6 degrees, minus 9, minus 12 here in Oklahoma as an air temperature, not a wind chill, but an air temperature, Saturday morning on the 13th. That's stupid. That's dangerous. You can't have pets outside. You can't be outside. You have risk for some pipes to burst. So this is, again, the brutal stuff. It's got minus 30s to near minus 40 up across the northern parts of the Rockies, on into parts of Canada. And you can see the cold air extends all the way down to the northern parts of Florida, and it's into Mexico. That's how bad this one is. Now, the Americans got an ensemble view. It's similar to the others, massively cold in the north, and it's a crapshoot here, what happens here across the southern plains. The American model, if we just take a look at the older version of it in the singular, just in other words, the control run, It's got 9 for us degrees for Oklahoma City area, but it's got the minus teens and 20s, not too far to the north and east. Again, all the way down to Texas and Mexico. And the newer version of that same model has us in the teens and kind of breaks up some of the cold air with some strange patterns of slight warming or moderation, which looks very suspicious. But the point being is it's still all the way down to near Florida and again into Mexico. So there is your overall storyline for the next 15 days, really, for the country. And so here in Oklahoma, let's get specific. So first off, by the way, I see some more stars tonight. Roger, appreciate you. Let's see. Anytime you guys want to send some, just feel free. Here's a look at how we take a look at temperatures for, let me go, this one here. We're going to take it through time. Now today was a great day. I mean, my goodness. 60s out there, it was lovely. Okay, so let's head on into tomorrow. So you do see this push of green that comes in the map. Well, I see these temperatures falling. So here's 7 a.m., here's 6 a.m. So the front really comes in about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. And temperatures will fall a little bit behind that front into the 40s. So we're looking at low 40s in the morning hours. We're going to try to rebound, though, a little bit for the afternoon. So there's some upper 40s, back up to near 50 for tomorrow. So this front, the models have it coming just slightly more warmer than it did in yesterday's data, but it's still cold. As we head onward through time, we'll be in the low 30s for Friday morning, and then Friday afternoon, not bad. Temperatures rebound back up into the upper 50s, and it looks like a pretty decent day for Friday, which is a little bit of a change. So that's nice. So this first front, although will be windy, doesn't have a whole lot of cold air with it. Now, if we look at the wind gusts, for example, behind this front, here's 5, 6, 7 a.m. All in the red is 30 to 40 to 50 miles per hour once you get toward the yellow. So that's some wind gusts up to around 50 miles an hour. Now, some of this won't mix down to the surface. In other words, be just, a little bit off the ground. But it is going to be windy regardless. And that batch of wind moves on through the state during the day tomorrow. In the afternoon, it should lessen a little bit. So by 5 o'clock, we're getting wind gusts down in the mid-20s. That's way better than 40s to 50 during the first part of the day. So be careful out there as far as the wind conditions are concerned for your Thursday. Okay, so now let's take you on into the weekend, and we're going to see what happens with that next front. How's the timing of it? The older data had it coming through on late Saturday. We'll see if that's changed. We'll just fast forward on in here. So here's Saturday morning. So we'll be back in the colder 30s across the state. As we head into the afternoon, though, warming up into the 50s. So not bad. The front has been delayed. And actually, the models kind of washed it out to our north into Kansas and didn't really do much with it. Now, we do cool down again by Sunday morning, but that's typical. We do that anyway. And what the models are doing is now delaying the big push of the Arctic air to come in on Monday. Precipitation, real quick, for the period tomorrow. There's really not much of a signal out here across the state. I think they might see a few sprinkles with the passing of the front tomorrow morning as it moves over your location, but that's it. That's all you're going to see. Once we head into the weekend, let's see. Let's jump into Saturday. Let's see if this model shows anything. Not all models do. This one's actually bone dry. Let me show you. The American model actually had a better representation of what's possible for that day. So let me just do that real quick. Oh, that's the old data or new data. All right, where is that's not what I want. Here we go. Okay, so on Saturday, let's see, back up here. So here's Saturday, 6 in the morning, and we just missed it. There's Saturday afternoon at 3. So here's lunchtime. See, it's got just a little bit of a light rain and snow mixture coming in, kind of skirting through northern and northeastern Oklahoma. So don't be surprised if you see something. It won't be significant. It should not amount to anything significant, but that's just going to be in the cards here for Saturday afternoon. With the little weak system moving through and the cold front slowly working its way through. Remember, those temperatures are actually a little bit warm. So, if anything, it'd be a rain-snow mix and it wouldn't be much to talk about. Now, as we go into time, and we'll stick with this American model for next week, the next big Arctic front comes in here for Monday. It does have a little bit of a light precipitation signal across the northern part of the state. That would likely be a little light drizzle, freezing drizzle, A little bit of snow mixed in, most of it across the eastern parts of the state where there'll be better moisture is the signal we're looking at right now. So it's not going to be a big deal other than just the fact of the cold air. Onward into next week, see there's a few flurry signals there on Tuesday, whereas before it looked like a pretty decent storm system developing. Now it kind of backed off of that. It's got another signal here on the 12th of February, a little bit of light snow. So, we'll look for that later on. That's why I'm saying snow is a wild card. It's on the table. It's just the question is, can we narrow it down, the timing and the amounts? Like here's another, shot of that here on the 15th. So we're in a pattern where it can happen. It's just nothing is just concrete at this point in time. And that takes you way out there to February 19th to give you an idea, right? Okay. Now let's take a look at those temperatures. We're going to look at a snapshot here across the state. Show you what's on the table for next week. Now this is typically the GFS model is a little on the warmer side when we're dealing with Arctic air. This is the older model, and I'm going to show you the European, so they'll be a little bit different, but it'll kind of give us just a general take home, which is what we're looking for here is the trend, right? Okay, so here's on Monday, big wave moves through, so Monday's a brutal day into the teens and 20s out there across the state. Rebounding is not going to be a word that's really going to describe the weather next week. Brutal would be a better word to use. There may be some brief moderations, but there's nothing that's just going to be saying, hey, boys, it's a pleasant day. So here's Tuesday. Here's Wednesday morning. It's got the model down to 10 degrees here. Now these aren't wind chill values. These are actual air temperatures. So this is during the day. Matter of fact, hold on a second. Was that something I just saw? Let's see. Wednesday, midnight. Okay, so there's Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Let's go forward into Wednesday. 6 degrees was the lowest I saw. Okay. And then we rebound up. There's the teens. So I've used that word rebound, but you see, it doesn't really mean much, does it? We're still in the teens and 20s out there during the day. This is just an idea of what's on the table as far as how cold things would get. This is Thursday. This is late Thursday. How about that? That's not a bad day, right? When we get above freezing, we celebrate. I mean, that's kind of where we're at on this long-term pattern. But if we keep on going with time, you can just see the cold air just keeps on piling in, right? And some days are worse than others, but the bottom line is it's just cold. There's Sunday the 14th at 6 a.m. Big fat goose egg for a temperature in Oklahoma City. Out west, there's -3 to Elk City of -1 down I-40. So in the long term, the potential's on the table there with that polar vortex breaking down, a piece of it shooting south would really give us some cold air. On we go, February 15th and 16th, we finally get out of that deep freeze pattern a little bit, but we're still struggling to get above freezing. On the 17th, looks like we may finally hit the 40s. Again, but then we're right back into the 30s. So remember, this is way out there. So odds are, this latter part of the forecast will change. And boy, if all things were great and gravy, February 19th, we'd briefly warm up in the 60s that day. Woohoo! Again, the accuracy of this is not even worth mentioning at this point. Tom, it's just something that's on the table that the model seems to think the trend would go into. If we take a look at the European, which doesn't quite go out that far, just to compare, and we'll see how well they mesh on temperatures. We'll go back into Monday. Keep in mind, wind chill values at these times will be at and below 0 during this period because the air temperatures aren't that much warmer as it is anyway. So here's Monday. It's got the big cold air moving on in. We're just kind of going to glance through here, show you the same kind of pattern here. We're looking at teens and 20s throughout the entire period of next week, so Wednesday and Thursday, and there's maybe a slight rebound there Thursday afternoons, what the American model did, but it's not much. Friday cold, and that's the way it goes. It's not as brutal with the overnight lows as the other model did, but I looked at the Canadian, it's way colder. So the European is actually a little warmer, believe it or not, than all the other models. It has a little different look at the pattern, and that makes a big difference. That upper level pattern, how that ends up playing out makes all the difference in the world whether or not we get down to earth-shattering, 0-degree temperatures. Now, if we take a look at a blend of models here for the extended outlook in the next week, you can see they're pretty conservative with daytime highs in the low to mid-30s and overnight lows into the teens. So that's a conservative approach. Now, could this happen? It could. Will it? It's hard to say. because again, that pattern makes all the difference in the world. We know it's going to get cold, and we know the potential is very, very cold. If we look at the European model itself, the latest runs, it stays cold, but it's similar to the blended model. So again, it's more of a conservative approach. If we look at the American model, it's a little bit more aggressive. There's a 6 degrees there for Wednesday. So it's going, you know what, it could get a little worse for the wear. Let me see here. Did I have anything else? Yeah, this one here for the daily goes onward to February 14th. It has a temperature of -1 in the morning and then 20 in the afternoon. So as you can see, the trend is going to be just, not nice for Oklahoma and surrounding states here as we head into the long-term outlook. I just looked at Oklahoma City, but remember, this is the trend across the entire state as we showed you on the big picture. All right, that was a lot to talk about. I had a lot to say, but you're now up to date as far as what the latest weather and trends are. If you have any questions here on Twitter or Periscope, go ahead and shoot those here real quick. I'll try to answer them for you. Let's see here. Then on the Patreon page, we pull you guys up. Okay. So, Amanda checked in from Bing. Larry's in the house. You could definitely wear shorts today, Larry. I did. I went to the gym wearing shorts. And I looked at my white legs and went, oh, I need some sun. Jariah Papa Pump once roundhouse kicked someone so hard that his foot broke the speed of light. Jariah is cracking jokes tonight. And then Larry's already ready to get the milk and bread run. So Larry says, is all the conservative models is what making all the weather apps say what they say? Yes. So keep in mind that the Weather Service puts out a lot of that data, and it will be conservative. The Weather Service rarely goes extreme. They play the conservative and the slow to react mantra. Now, that usually works in most cases. In other cases, that'll bite them. But for some reason, that's just kind of the way they operate. Not saying that's right or wrong. It's just how it works. So a lot of times those apps will be slow to update as a result. And so that's why I try to give you as many updates as possible so you can have the latest on my end, and you can see in real time how quickly things can change. All right, so let me scroll through your main page here. See some of the comments. Carol wants some snow. She's a Yankee and is ready for it. Ron is end of days cold. That's a nice one. I might quote that and use that, steal it from you. Christy, no, this is not moving in tomorrow as far as the brutal cold. That was for next week. Roger's already on to severe weather. He wants to know what the outlook is. I'm going to tell you the same thing every year, Roger. There'll be days where it's great, and there'll be days where we got a few storms around. Some of those will produce a few tornadoes, and some of them produce hail and wind, and others will be just beneficial rain. Rinse, repeat every year. So all those long-range outlooks have very little skill. So I don't put too much weight in any of them. Let's see what else we got. Leslie, by the way, thank you for the stars. You're on a 2-week streak. I see that. And Rustin's giving me the clapping hands. 500 stars. Thank you, brother. And Jessica, I see you with 50 stars checking in. Tim from Ohio. Oh, good to see you, Tim. I love when you guys check in from other parts of the country or even the world. Sometimes you guys will be watching from other places like vacation spots, which I'm totally envious of. Let's see. Sharon and Joe, you're having a little mini conversation. Jessica, I see you there. Thank you for the stars. And Sharon wanted some 50s and 60s for her birthday. Well, I'll tell you what. Happy birthday. I'm going to give you the opposite of that. We're going to cool it down for you. Let's see. What else we got? Scrolling through. So Joanna said any precip chance? Not anything significant anytime soon. As far as winter precipitation next week, we'll take a look at it as we get closer to it. Eventually, we'll get a system out of that. Eventually, that'll do something. Right, Jared. That was my issue there. But I'm red hair, blue eyes, genes. It's in my genes for skin cancer just from sun exposure anyway. From when I was a kid, all that stuff's cumulative. Luckily, I always catch them early, and they're the mostly all the benign stuff, so that's always good. But key is to go every 6 months and burn them off or cut them off. Let's see, what else? Any more? Wish you had better news. I know it, Sharon. Sorry for that. Katina, appreciate your forecasts. You and your forecasts. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for the comment. And Georgie Ann, well, I appreciate you as well. So that's about it here for me for tonight. We're about 10 till 10, so I want to turn this loose, and we'll do another update here over the next coming days as we continue to track the cold air and look for any storm systems that's going to give us a little bit more of that white stuff around here, all right? Or if we get a little bit of ice out of it too. You always have to watch for that as well, especially in Arctic air situations. Sometimes it's more conducive for a little ice than it is for snow. Kind of just depends on the timing and how things set up. It has to be all aligned just right to have one or the other. And then usually if it's, the Arctic air is entrenched and keeps getting reinforced, it dries out the atmosphere so much, and eventually it's thick enough to where it's light snow, if anything. Like, in other words, a real dry, powdery stuff that doesn't stick together. It's usually what you end up getting. So we'll have to see how all that stuff goes over time. All right, guys. Have a great night. Thanks again for your support, and we'll talk soon.